This is Build Your Difference, a podcast created by Blue Artists, a brand platform with one goal: to help great visionaries like you build impressive brands. Every month, we'll bring you insightful tips, knowledge, and compelling stories from successful entrepreneurs and the Blue Artists team on how to create and market a winning brand that does more than just launch a new product or service. It starts an ongoing conversation. Because you're not just making a brand, you're making a difference. Let's start building.
Hi there, this is Pierre Walters, and I want to welcome you to this episode of Open Sessions on the Build Your Difference podcast. Thank you so much for taking a moment to join us today as we talk about the stuff that really matters for entrepreneurs, people who are in a position where they're running their own business. There's so many different types of entrepreneurs. You can be a motivational speaker, you can be an author. We have a lot of great authors, and you can be an artist. You could be an artist, and you can build a business around your art. And now a lot of people, when you say that, a lot of people think instantly, okay, well, you must be talking about music, or you must be talking about being a musician, because oftentimes the word artist is when we reference that as it relates to business, we're in pop culture we must be talking about a musician or something. But sometimes you have to remind yourself, you have to remember, wait a second, no, that word art, don't forget, there's a lot of other things besides music in terms of art. Hello, there's fine art, there's illustrators, there are designers, there are graphic designers, there are people who design clothing. Okay, I mean, this is really, really broad. But you know what? If you are in a position where you are an artist and you're running a business and you're running your business, there are some tips that you might want to consider to really help push you along and help sort of break down some of those initial barriers that you might feel, especially when you're getting things up and running. Now, recently, I came across this incredible article on the Artist Network, and that's the artistnetwork.com. And the article says, how to build a brand as an artist, 7 tips for success. I just want to introduce these quick tips to you, just so you can get some immediate value from this particular piece. So the first tip is to define who you are. Now, as an artist, your primary what you're primarily selling is your identity, who you are, your unique perspective on the world. And this article says, hey, you know what? What is your artist statement? What are you trying to say through your artwork? What does your art mean to you? How is your art unique? When you can answer these key questions and share more about who you are as an artist, then you are opening the door for success, because you're allowing people to understand what makes your perspective different. Muse on what your art brand really encompasses and how your art is distinctly different from the work of others. This is just so that you can get an idea of what your in other words, what your competitive advantage might be. I mean, some businesses use that particular term. You don't have to use that particular term. We're talking about something that is relatively subjective. But here's an example. The Liquitex brand is on the storefront of innovation when it comes to acrylic paints. So they've created the world's first cadmium-free colors, offering artists a safer option in their practice with no compromise when it comes to color strength and brightness. Their brand messaging is clear and memorable and has something to say. So artists take heed. The more prospective buyers and collectors that can connect with you and your art, the more likely they are to want to invest in your brand. So this tip is important, guys. Here's a quick reminder: define who you are. Now, tip number 2: understand what you want to accomplish. All right. So know what it is you want to bring to the table. What is it that you want to accomplish by starting a business as an artist? Is it that you want to be able to support yourself, and your family through doing what you love? Is there a meaningful change or difference you want to bring to the world? Is there awareness that you're trying to raise to a particular issue? Just understand what you want to accomplish through business as an artist. And number 3, focus on getting the word out. All right, you got to shamelessly promote yourself, and you got to you got to feel really comfortable about that. I know it's easy to kind of be humble and have humility and not really want to promote yourself, and that I think that comes with the territory of being someone whose vision is their competitive advantage, so to speak. But you kind of have to work through that. You have to work through that and really recognize that if you don't promote your own work, and promote is maybe a strong word, because that you probably all automatically think about sales and marketing, but really it's just about sharing your work with others, letting people know that your work exists. There's so many tools to use these days with like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. There's so many tools. Having your own website, hello, there's so many tools that you can use to get the word out about your art. So do it. Now, number 4, be accessible. So regardless if you prefer in-person or online interactions with your audience, you got to make sure that you are accessible. If people can't contact you, if people don't know how to actually reach you, then how are you ever going to be able to serve them? So it's not just about making your art. It's not just about promoting your art. You've got to make sure there's a stream of sort of communication between you and your audience. This is extremely important. And within that communication, you have got to be present and you have got to be accessible. All right. Take advantage of powerful online tools like social media, running your own website, blogging, sending out emails. It's easy to hustle and bustle every day, but you have to remember, people turn to social media as a way to stay connected. So you got to have a presence there, and then from there you got to have a way to show people how they can connect more deeply and more exclusively with you. So it's really, really important. And number 7, always keep them coming back for more. Always keep them coming back for more. Okay, you got to always have something coming down the pipeline. Don't just create. If you're one of those artists, I'm telling you, I know a bunch. If you're one of those artists who have maybe you created a piece of artwork 3 or 4 years ago, and that is the primary piece of artwork that you've created, and you're promoting only that one piece of artwork. You got to remember that we're in a culture where what keeps people coming back for more is the promise of something new. So what do you have that's new? What is coming down the pipeline? What's the new project? What's the new event? What's the new thing that you can always be hinting at that you are doing that will engage and keep your customers and your audience coming back, knowing that there's always going to be something more? All right, now, here's 2 other tips I'm going to touch on real quick from this article, artistnetwork.com. And the first tip is what to do when you hit a wall. So if you find yourself stuck in a rut or you hit a wall with your art entrepreneurship, the answer is simple: rebrand. Just rebrand. You're an artist. Look at your own brand and say, you know what? How can I switch things up? How can I freshen this up? How can I sort of show, hey, you know what? We've reinvented ourselves. Okay, people love that. It's an excellent way to reignite the passion for your business, the passion for your brand, and helps your audience to reignite their passion for you. It's easy to get comfortable in the same old routines, but people love something new, and sometimes you can take your existing brand, rebrand, and now voila, it's something new. Now here's the last bonus tip: always lead with passion. The number one most important thing that you can bring to the table is your passion, not just your perspective, but the passion that fuels your perspective. So never forget that your business is your passion. And if you hold true to that, you can never go wrong. Now, on today's episode of the Build Your Difference podcast on Open Sessions, I'm pleased to be joined by an incredible artist. His name is Juan Sugars, and he runs a brand called Nitti Gritti. Okay, Nitti Gritti Clothing. You can learn more about them at nittygrittyclothing.com. But I've got Juan on the line today, and I'm so excited. I want to introduce you to Juan. I want to give him an opportunity to just really tell us all about himself and what it is that that he's passionate about these days. And then we're going to dive a little deeper into some topics that I know Juan really wants to discuss on today's episode. So Juan, are you there today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm so excited that you're on today's episode of Open Sessions. I'm a big fan of your work, and we've worked together for now a couple of years.
That's right.
So I have the pleasure of really seeing the kind of work ethic that you bring to the table, the kind of passion that you bring to the table, and just how brilliant you are as an artist. But for our audience, for people who may not be familiar with you or your brand, could you tell us about yourself, your background, and tell us a little bit about Nitty Gritty?
All right. Like you said, my name is Juan Sugars, and I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in Fine Arts and Graphic Design from Norfolk State University. I've been in the field roughly about 20 years. Being in the actual field, and also doing freelance work, and I just decided, I've had a major job, I've had a regular job for about 15 years, and I just decided, I'm an artist, I'm a creator, and so about 5 years ago, I decided to build on an idea that that a friend of mine came up with, actually about 17 years ago.
Wow.
It's funny. He called me to. I was living in Chicago at the time, and he called me to his house, and I said, I got this idea. I want to do T-shirts, and the idea is the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty, is the basic essentials, the raw, the bare essentials, and the way you look at it is, you take all aspects of life, any aspect of life, and you strip it down to its, like what KRS-One said, break it down to its very last compound. I don't know if you're familiar with KRS-One.
Yeah.
So you strip it of all its glitter and glamour, and you look at what, you look at the original formula of anything in life. It's a way to view the world. It's a way to, so you look at your original formula, and or going back, or the way I interpret it is going back to your roots. It's
going
another
back
way
to
of
your
saying
roots.
yes.
Okay.
And so if you, and that's where I got the idea for the logo. And if you look at the logo, look at the detail work, it's an actual, like a design in the form of a root, and the root is morphing into a key, because in my view, the root is the key.
Now, for those of you who are listening and want to see Juan's logo for yourself, Juan, I've given the website, but how about you do it? Where do you want them to go to see more about your brand, and where they can actually see this logo that you're describing?
Yes, they can go to Nitti Gritti Clothing.com, and it's spelled Nitti Gritti Clothing.com.
Got it. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So as you were saying, you're describing this logo. This is sort of the reason that you went with the sort of the roots idea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So for after putting it off, I put it off for a long time, but just everyday life. But I came up with this idea, and I think it's another way of saying Sankofa. If you are familiar with the Adinkra symbol, Sankofa is one cannot. It means one cannot. I'm paraphrasing, but one cannot know their future unless they know their past.
Okay.
So, so basically, returning to your, going back to your foundation. Going back to your foundation is like going back to your roots.
Right. So this was 17 years ago that you had this conversation, and that sort of sparked the foundation.
Yes, that my friend came up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. I don't know if I should say this, but I called him not too long ago to ask him if he wanted to. And I just didn't want to. Take the idea and just leave him out and just leave him out of it.
Right. Right. And you kind of consider him as sort of a co-founder.
Right.
Okay. So you didn't want to move ahead too far without him being involved in some way. Is that right?
That's right. But he just told me, he didn't even remember coming up with it. he said I was drunk when I came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was thinking, well, that was an ingenious idea, and I said, thank you. He called me because he knew I was an artist. Mm-hmm. So here we are, 17 years later. 5 years ago, I actually, came up with the logo and the concept. Mm-hmm. And so I've been, just in the market, just trying to figure things out. Mm-hmm. Because I'm an artist primarily. I'm not really a business person per se. So yes, any tips or any type of suggestions, I'm like a sponge.
Got it. Well, Juan, what's beautiful about your story is that there's so many people who are listening, who are watching this podcast, who are artists. That's how they consider themselves. They don't consider themselves business people. They don't consider themselves I guess what you would sort of imagine as like the sort of typical kind of like, hey, I'm climbing the corporate ladder kind of thing. Like, a lot of people, they're artists, and their passion is what they're creating. And sometimes, the idea of turning that into a business is actually kind of daunting, because it's not immediately clear how to monetize that. So before we get into the nitty gritty, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your business provides? What are some of the services or products that your business provides? What are you actually selling?
Primarily, I'm selling an idea, message. I could consider positive messages, and this is, what I say is by any medium necessary. Mm-hmm. And so it could be clothing, it could be fine art, mm-hmm. it could be it could be through graphics.
Okay.
But right now, I feel that clothing is a cost-effective and I guess inexpensive for the consumer to get my message out there. Okay. And for fine art lovers as well. And, I'm a fine artist. I love to paint and draw, and so it's I would say two mediums right now: uh, graphic tees, fine arts, and I want to build on those two things.
Okay. Okay. So right now, if someone goes to your website, when someone goes to your website right now, what they can find on the nittygrittyclothing.com website is graphic tees as
Yes,
well as artwork for purchase.
artwork.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Now, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Where do you see this going in maybe the next 5 years or even the next 10 years? Like what would be the ultimate end game of your business? In other words, Juan, what is it that you're working towards? What are we building here?
Well, I want to get where I see it, where I want to have it go is when someone says nitty gritty,
Mm-hmm.
they think of that logo. They think of they think of the concept that I've created. It's not a new term, you know.
Mm-hmm.
However, things can be reinvented. Words
Mm-hmm.
can be, it's a trigger. I wanted to, just like when you said, let's get down to the nitty gritty chuckle, because we went back to this concept that I have. So when people say nitty gritty, hey, that's on the t-shirt,
Yeah.
or, it's a catchphrase, and it can be popular, but also it can have a deeper meaning than just that, catchphrase, So I want to kind of start a culture behind,
Okay.
sort of a pop culture behind this. And, and also uncover and also look at bring to the forefront certain, different issues that might not be popular.
Okay.
We
Okay.
bring from the darkness to the light.
So is it, what, I like that, bring from the darkness to the light. Is this is one of the goals of the Nitty Gritty Clothing Company, I'm just going to say company as a business, is one of the goals of the Nitty Gritty Clothing Company to raise awareness about certain things that maybe we're not currently paying enough attention to?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I mean, well, at this point, we may be, society may be waking up and looking at different things, but it is as you a lot of times in history, a lot of unpopular topics may come to the forefront and then it just dies out. It becomes it's a fad or whatever. I want to keep I want to keep awareness going. It's not a style necessarily.
Okay.
It can be it can be nitty gritty may be a style, but the idea behind it will never go out of style.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So some of the most important things that you really want to sort of, again, we're talking about the vision here. So in maybe 5 years or so, you want Nitty Gritty, the company or the brand, to be known as not just a great destination for original artwork, fine artwork, but also thought-provoking
Exactly.
clothing, and also raising awareness and shedding light on some important topics. What are one or two of those important topics or themes or topics that that you want to use the platform of Nitty Gritty to raise awareness for, or to?
Um, injustice, uh, unity,
Okay.
economic empowerment.
Economic empowerment. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
uh,
And these are things that are important to you, right? As the founder.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. This is good. So I'm kind of seeing your vision in terms of where you want this to go, and I'm seeing it as 5 years from now, and probably even much sooner than that. But this is not just going to be a clothing company. It's
No.
not
No.
just going to be a destination for fine art. It's going to be like you said, it's a culture, it's a movement, and it is what you want people to think about when they think about the root of
Mhm.
some of these important topics, or
And I,
things that we sort of struggle with as a society, right?
yes, sir. And I keep it general. I keep it general because Nitty Gritty covers so many things.
Yeah,
Everything
that's yeah.
everything has an origin. Everything has a nitty gritty. Everything has a root.
Hmm.
You know. So what might be um, my nitty gritty. My you know my concept of nitty gritty might be different from someone else's. So
Right.
it could also be a personal. It could also be uh, a personal journey,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
it does. It does. So let's go into one of the one of the main challenges you're facing right now. What's something that you're really dealing with right now as a business owner of this company that is really at the forefront of a culture? What's a challenge you're facing right now?
well, um, right now, right at this time, the challenge would be just knowing where to start as far as trying to find make the right decision uh, um, what type of clothing to what type of clothing to or outlet or site to go along with, because what I'm seeing is like the type of clothing that I want to put out a variety of
Okay.
clothing,
Okay.
and so of course the issue that I'm having is these print on demand sites. They're not going to have like real trendy looking type of clothing. Is going to be general, which is good,
Mm,
but just trying to make the best decision as far as, like, for instance, I want to do short sleeve hoodies. You don't see that too often on
okay.
these print on demand sites, and you definitely don't see dashikis or African type clothing.
Right.
You know,
Mm,
I want to you know kind of um, hit different markets. I
okay.
don't necessarily just want to put out t-shirts, but
Okay.
that
Okay. So
might be the best thing to start off with.
the variety of clothing at the moment is a challenge that you're facing in terms of how to get that clothing produced.
Right.
Okay.
And also, I guess, once I put it out there, I have
Hmm.
to be able to um I have to be able to guarantee that, let's say I get my hands on a dashiki or a short sleeve hoodie, um, I have to guarantee that I'm going to, if I put it out there and someone orders it, I have to be able to produce it.
Right.
Pretty much guarantee that they're going to get that same shirt, unless I put on the website, this is one of a kind. You know what I mean?
I see. Well, what's the challenge there? If someone comes on the site and makes a purchase, what's for, let's say, for a dashiki, do you not have any relationships right now with vendors who produce dashikis?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
I might know.
So we need to.
Yeah.
You might know someone. You said.
I might know someone, but I wouldn't call it a relationship. But I just have to reach out. It's not something I would have to actually physically give them a call. It's not something that I can go on a website and find. I've been looking, and also just knowing how to put the other challenges, just knowing. So some people have that gift of just sharing themselves and just being able to put the word out. And I'm more, I guess I'm kind of reclusive. I would I would, if I had it my way, I would just have someone handle all that stuff and I just produce the artwork. I think that's how a lot of artists are.
Yeah, that is how a lot of artists are. And you know what? You got to shake yourself out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to help. That's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve you. What that will serve is the other person who wants to come in and manage everything for you and ultimately take advantage of you and find ways to profit off of you that leave you at a disadvantage. So you don't want that. No artist wants that. And that, unfortunately, is the reality for so many artists who resign themselves to, quote unquote, leave that side of it to somebody else. So that's something. And you know what the thing is, Juan, it may not seem fun at first. It may seem, I just want to focus on my art at first. But you know what? It actually is totally and completely doable. I think that the real issue is that, because the thing about you as an artist is that you are innately passionate about what you're doing. Obviously, you're passionate about what you're doing because that's why you're doing it. That's why you're creating the artwork that you're creating, because you're passionate about it. And you have to kind of flip that switch in your head that says, you know what, this is what I'm passionate about right now. This is what I need to be talking about. I need to share that passion with others. And even if it's just by way of posting your art, or if it's by way of talking about what you're currently working on, that is more than enough. That's more than enough. The whole infrastructure side of it, which I know is a challenge. I know it's a challenge, but you know what? That's a challenge that actually will continue to scale as your business scales. You're always going to have this challenge of suppliers, in other words, your vendors, and your fulfillment. That's never going to go away. You're always going to have that challenge, because you might partner up with the supplier today, and for some reason that supplier goes out of business, or they change their prices. And now your whole business has to change because this supplier has suddenly changed their policies. And so you're always going to be in this balance of, you might have to let go of a supplier and go with a different supplier, so this is going to be this is going to be something that you really want to adopt as normal as soon as possible. And the way that I suggest is that you start immediately with what you can control. So like right now you are selling t-shirts on your site. And right now that makes the most sense. And over time, you can add additional clothing options like dashikis. You can add that over time, especially once you find that vendor that you can work with, that you trust, and that for at least for the time being, that's the vendor that you're gonna use to supply those particular orders. But you don't want to wait until you find that vendor. That's the important part. You don't want to wait until you find that vendor. You want to go ahead right now, focus on what you can control. And you know, it's so easy. And actually, I think it's a detriment. It's so easy for people to go on to something like, one of these e-commerce systems and, set up a design that when a customer clicks on that design, the order is automatically printed, fulfilled, and shipped to them. It's really, really easy to do that. Okay. And that gives you kind of a false sense of security, because it's not really, your business won't be able to scale like that in the way that you want it to, because there are products that you want to be able to offer that are not produced in that way on demand. So you can't base, you won't be able to base your entire business on that model. And so maybe we should forget about the on-demand stuff in terms of how you are offering this to customers. Maybe you should think about a policy or a system that says, you know what, look, when someone comes to my website, okay, and they purchase a t-shirt, the policy is that t-shirt will be shipped to them within a week. It'll arrive to them within 2 weeks. Okay, so in other words, a 2-week period of time, but from the time the customer purchased the product to the time it arrives at their door, 2 weeks. That gives you 1 week to deal with fulfillment, or 1 week to deal with getting it produced, and then another week to deal with getting it shipped. So the order comes in from your website, and when that order comes in, the next day you go to your vendor, all right, and you then place that order for that particular shirt that the customer purchased, and you have it shipped from the vendor directly to the customer. Now, that's not totally automated. It's still on demand, obviously, but it's not totally automated, which means that there is a little bit of legwork that you have to do. You have to receive the order, and then you have to place the order. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But by developing that practice now and sort of building all of your products around that particular practice, you'll find that you'll actually have more flexibility and more control over what products you can add, because now you're not necessarily worried about what can be done automatically. Okay, which is really what you have to have if you're going to go the route of, some of these on-demand solutions. Now you have a relationship with a couple on-demand print solutions currently, like Printful, right?
Yes. I think what's on my website was produced through Zazzle, if I'm not mistaken.
Through Zazzle. Okay. So the reason that those items are produced through Zazzle, I'm at your website right now just taking a look. The reason those items are produced through Zazzle is because of the on-demand nature, right? Because the order can come in, you can, and then on Zazzle it can get printed and shipped all in one place, right? Okay.
That's correct, yeah.
So the problem though is that it's very expensive to do that. so the your profit margin is going to be really, really tiny, because you don't want to charge the customer an enormous amount, but it's going to cost a lot to get all of that done with Zazzle. And then how much money do you make on the deal, considering you have to you have to go to Zazzle to get that order fulfilled. So that's an issue there that we have to kind of tackle. How does this compare to Printful? I mean, Printful is a great solution where you can upload your designs and you can decide what types of clothing products they have that you want to apply your designs to, and then simply head to them and get them shipped and printed and shipped whenever you need to, right?
Yeah, they're a lot like Zazzle.
They are.
But I would have to really look at them again. I haven't looked at them in a while to compare prices. Because like you said, looking at the clothing that I have so far, it's a bit pricey, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know. What's their opinion? I mean, the average person might look at it too. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about the average person. I'll be honest with you. I mean, in terms of pricing, look, if people want to buy a hoodie, they can go to the store and buy a cheap hoodie. All right. So they have plenty of options. If they're going to go to your website to buy your hoodie, that means that they're not looking to just put clothes on their back.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
If they want to put clothes on their back, they can go to the store and do that. And they can get a great deal from Ross or one of these other clothing stores. Okay.
That's right.
So if they're coming to your website, that's because they want to support your brand.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they're prepared to spend a little more because of what it means to spend with you. So it's not really about offering a competitive price, because you're not dressing people so so that they can have clothes on their back. You're providing people with a way to spread a message, right? That's what you're ultimately doing. You're providing them with different ways that they can spread this message that they agree to, they agree with the Nitty Gritty message, or they agree with a particular campaign that you're running. Maybe you have Black Lives Matter shirts. Maybe you have shirts about, wealth, and shirts that have different cool quotes about, how to build wealth, things like that. They're there to support that. That's why they're buying from you. So I wouldn't worry too much about, am I totally, competing here in terms of price? That being said, I'm looking at some great hoodies right now over at printful.com. And I know that one of the hoodies you want to be able to offer is a short sleeve hoodie. And I don't see that here on their website. And you know what? That's okay. Don't worry about it. Offer what you can right now. And then offer what you want to offer later, when those options become available, or when you find a partner who can make those kinds of limited options available at that time. But hey, check it out. I mean, look, on Printful, you can get a unisex heavy blend hoodie. Okay. You can buy it from them for $20.75. You sell it to your customer for $29, and you make $8.25 in profit. Okay. That's totally reasonable. Reasonable. And what I want to encourage you to do is not worry about, okay, can I set it up so that when they come to the website, make the order, that it automatically goes to Printful, automatically gets printed, and automatically gets shipped? Is that important? Yes, that is going to be important as the business grows at scale, but it's not important right now. Right now, we just want to get some customers. We just want to get, enough customers to where this becomes reasonable for you. Like this becomes something where you're making so much revenue that you can sacrifice a little bit of revenue in order to get better automation features. And a lot of times people start with the automation features, but in my opinion, they're starting too early with that, because they haven't focused on building a brand. They haven't focused on establishing any kind of customer loyalty or customer support. They haven't focused on anything that really works for them building a business. So they're wasting, in my opinion, a lot of money, okay, on each sale on automation features that they could easily provide on their own. I mean, if you had, let's say an order came in, let's say you had 50 orders this week, okay? This week alone, let's say you had 50 orders. Now, let's say on each of those 50 orders, you made a profit of $8.25, okay? So that's, I'm just going to take my calculator out and go $8.25 times 50. That's $412.50 in profit. Now, that's 50 orders. So let's say that's 50 different customers. And let's say it takes you 5 minutes to fulfill the order for each of those customers. So that's 50 times 5, 250 minutes divided by 60. So that's 4 hours. So it takes you 4 hours to supply all of these orders. So do you mean to tell me that making $412 in 4 hours is too much work? It's too much work. It's not too much work. That's it. So if you could double that, that's $800 in 8 hours. So if you sat at the computer and spent 5 minutes supplying an order for each of your customers, okay, and there's 100 customers in a day, 5 minutes you spend for each customer, you get 50 done in the first half of the day and the other 50 done in the second half of the day, and you walk away making $850 to $900. Do you mean to tell me that that's not worth sitting down and supplying these orders in one 8 hour period? It's perfectly reasonable, but people don't think that way. They don't think that way. So they think, oh my goodness, I need all this to be set up and happening automatically, which you can do, but that's going to cut into your profit margin. So instead of making $8.25 per order, now you're making $5 or $3 per order, because you're paying these other systems to handle all of this automation for you. And I think that's okay once you reach a certain scale where you can give up that additional revenue. But if you told me, hey, you know what, Pierre, okay, spend one day and fulfill all these orders that you got this week, spend 8 hours, fulfill 100 orders and make $850, okay? That's $1,000 basically in one day. Come on now, that's not too much to ask. And you're only doing that once a week. Now listen, when you start spending every day, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, fulfilling 100 orders every day, that's what, 500 orders every week. When you get into that position, and the orders still keep coming in and you can't keep up with it, now it's time to give up some of that revenue and get some support. Now it's time to get that all those automated features. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So now let me just do the math on this. So 500 orders at a profit of 825 cents per order is $4,125. So basically you can earn, if you were to work every day, 8 hours a day, okay, just supplying orders at about 5 minutes per order, you're gonna bring in the max you would make in that week would be around $4,100. That's in 1 week. So if we times that by 4, because there's 4 weeks in a month, that means your maximum earning potential, okay, at this sort of formula is going to be around $16,500 per month. So that's the maximum you can actually earn if it's just you fulfilling all these orders every day, every week. Now, right now, that's a good trade-off. I'll be honest with you. It's a great trade-off right now when you're establishing a lot of these, when you're establishing the business. But you know what happens when you need to start fulfilling 1,000 orders a week, okay, instead of 500 orders a week? Now it's time to either you need to hire somebody or you need to put some automation in there. And guess what? You'll be making so much money that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal.
Right.
So I think what we need to do is we need to start offering way more products, because right now on the Nitty Gritty Clothing website, we don't have very many clothing products. And services like Printful offer excellent ways for you to easily generate as many products as you want. I mean, you could offer for all the different hoodies they have, all you have to do is apply your design to all of their different hoodies. And now suddenly you're offering what? 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 11. So now you have 11 different types of hoodies you can offer. 11 different types of hoodies. Why not offer all of them? Why not offer all 11? I mean, it's not about remember, it's not about necessarily the hoodie. It's about the message on the hoodie. So why not give your customer 11 different ways to choose what kind of hoodie they want to get the same message? You know, the some of the, I mean, we got to get out of this, like, we got to kind of try to get out of this way of looking at this as like, no, I'm going to only offer this one particular type of hoodie, or I want to only offer this one particular type of thing because that's what my brand is and that's what makes my brand different, blah, blah, blah. No, not really. It isn't. No, it isn't. Really, what makes your brand different is the messaging. That's the only thing. The only thing they can get from you that they can't get from anybody else is the messaging. That's it. It's the only thing that they can only get from you. And you need to allow them to get that from you in every single conceivable way possible. So that now you have your baseline covered. And on top of that baseline, now you can start offering limited editions. Now you can start offering the dashikis, because now you have this revenue coming in that can allow you to go straight to a dashiki supplier in another country and order 1,000 dashikis in bulk. And now you don't even have to worry about on demand, because you just purchased 1,000 dashikis in bulk. You now own these dashikis. You probably spent $3 or $4 because you purchased them in bulk. And now you've got them all somewhere in your house.
Right,
okay.
right.
And now you can sell them for $30, $40 even, probably, on your website as a limited edition item. And the money that you spent on those dashikis, so let's say $3 per dashiki and you purchase 1,000, so that's $3,000. That's chump change because you are generating so much revenue from your baseline, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting to you, Juan, is that you need to really up the baseline game. You gotta up it. There should be so many products on your website that it's mind-blowing. That, I mean, it's like unbelievable. There's so many products here. You really need to do that. And you know what? It's not going to cost you anything to do that. You're not spending money on all of these different products until someone buys them. So it's not going to cost you anything to take your designs, go to Printful, apply your designs to all 11 different types of hoodies in that category, take the JPEG, the image that they generate, and put that image up on your website and sell it for $30. And you have all of them available in the whole sweatshirt hoodie category. And that's, so I'll tell you one thing. We're going to have to use a different e-commerce system on your website. Okay. So right now on the website, we're using the brand desk hosting built-in e-commerce system for the three different shirt products that are currently on the site. And that's okay for something that, for that few products. But when we start talking about 11 different hoodies, okay,
Yeah.
let alone, we haven't even talked about sweatshirt. We haven't even talked about, t-shirts. There's so, embroidered shirts, long sleeve shirts, tank tops, polo shirts. We haven't talked about all of that yet, but underwear, leggings, sweatpants, joggers. There's so much we haven't talked. So I'm suggesting to you that we saturate the store on nittygrittyclothing.com with all of these different categories and options. And so the current e-commerce system is not going to work. You're going to need a more robust e-commerce system. And so the one that I'm going to recommend to you, it's a personal favorite. It integrates beautifully with with your existing website. So your customer never has to actually leave your website. This system is called Ecwid, ecwid.com. And guess what? Their monthly fee to use their service starts at $15 a month. And I would even suggest for you, I would suggest the $35 per month option, because their $35 per month option allows you to carry up to 2,500 products and synchronize those products not just on your website, but also on Amazon. So that means customers can find Nitti Gritti Clothing on Amazon. Isn't that incredible?
It is, yeah.
All right. So you're talking $35 a month. $35 a month. And you go to Printful and you generate images for all the different products that you want to sell. So, you put the Nitti Gritti Clothing artwork on all these different types of products, and we take all these products up to 2,500. That's 2,500 different types of products. And we put them into your Ecwid store. And then we embed your Ecwid store into your existing website. So now customers go to nittygrittyclothing.com. They click on store. They never leave the website. They're still at nittygrittyclothing.com. But now when they go to the store, they're seeing products upon products upon products to match every single price point or interest. This is the baseline that you want to cover. Establish the baseline so that there's reasons for people to come and purchase all of these different types of clothing. And then in a couple of months, when you're really happy, with what you're generating in terms of revenue, then I would look for a dashiki vendor. Where are dashikis often produced? Are we talking about South America? Are we talking about countries in the Caribbean, in Africa, or the islands? I mean, I have no idea. So you tell me, where are dashikis typically produced?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know in particular, but I do know that. Yeah. I mean, in order to get an authentic type of dashiki, then it would be in. I'll have to speak to the couple of people that I know who produce dashikis, and I guess I would deal with them, maybe partner up with them, because I did talk to one person maybe a long time ago and kind of lost contact with them, but I could still reach them again. I would have to do some research on that.
Okay, well, guess what? I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
I just looked it up, and guess what I found for you? I found 44 different clothing companies that manufacture dashikis at scale. So you would purchase your dashikis from one of these 44 different manufacturers, and you would purchase it at wholesale price. And then you would then sell it to your customers at retail price. 44 different manufacturers, starting with one in India, another one in China, another one in India. So I see lots of India and Chinese manufacturers here. I see some in Thailand. Okay, so there are tons and tons and tons of options. I'm looking at a lot right now, and I've got all their contact information. I went to panjiva.com manufacturers, and that's just one website. Okay, so I didn't waste any time I didn't worry about who I needed to talk to. I just went straight to Google and I Googled where to manufacture dashikis. Now I'm also looking at Alibaba.com, which is basically like Amazon but for the rest of the world.
Now, I was checking them out.
Yeah, that's because you can buy from them at scale as well, and obviously the more you buy, the cheaper it becomes. Okay, I mean, I'm looking at one here for $2.30 or $3.50.
Yeah,
Yeah, on Alibaba.com. Okay. All right. So you do not need to talk to anyone with whom you have a personal relationship or anyone you actually know. You can just go straight to some of these existing manufacturers, buy what you need in bulk, and problem solved. Problem solved. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do that right now, because right now that's going to cost them. That's going to cost them money.
Right.
And I think you need to get the baseline down first, and then, make that kind of investment. So right now, what is the investment that you need to make? Okay, on getting this baseline down. Well, not a big investment at all. $35 for equid.com. All right. You already have the hosting, so don't make any changes there. So $35 for Equid. And maybe you might want to spend a couple dollars, maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 5 credits with us at Brand Desk to help you to set this all up. Okay. Now, what will we need to set this up? What will we need? Well, we would need your artwork, all of the artwork that you want to see applied to clothing. We would need you to provide that artwork, or we would need you to go to printful.com, make sure you have an account there, upload your artwork, and start generating products. Okay, that's going to take some of your time, because you might want to fiddle with it and find creative ways to apply your designs onto some of these different clothes. But listen, remember what the goal is. The goal is the baseline. So don't spend too much time doing this. I mean, don't be I hate to say it to you, but don't be a perfectionist about it. Go and apply your logo, or apply, take a design. Let's say you have a particular piece of artwork that you want to create clothing around. And let's say it's that artwork. I'm on your website now, and I'm looking at that one artwork that it says "Life, the Heart of the Matter." Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's got like an eagle or a hawk. I think it's a hawk.
A falcon.
A falcon. Thank you. Thank you. So you would send us that artwork, and we would go to printful.com, and we would apply this artwork on all different types of t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and hoodies and sweatshirts, all of them. So when the customer clicks on Heart of the Matter, there's all these different types of ways they can get that shirt, or they can get that artwork. Now, are you going to want to do some editing? Yeah, sure. You might say, well, it doesn't really look good on a sweatshirt because there's a zipper that goes right in the middle. Okay, so we're not going to offer that. Or, it doesn't really look good on this particular type of shirt because the way the shirt is, the fabric, it's everything is muted and I can't see the artwork. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit of editing that you're going to have to do to decide which of those products make it to your actual store. But the first step is to apply it to everything, and then go through and then uncheck the ones that don't look good. Okay, right. So rather than going through and applying it one by one and trying to make it look good on everything, I would just apply it to everything, and then only take the ones that actually look good and import that into Equid, your Equid store, which we can do for you. We can help you do that, or you can do that yourself. But all in all, Juan, we're not talking about a very large investment here. We're talking about $35 extra per month that you'll pay directly to Equid, so that you have that technology. And then we're talking about just some time to take your artwork and generate all these different types of products on Printful, and then import the ones that look great into Equid, so that Equid can display these products on your store. That's it. And I would say focus on that first before you drop thousands of dollars on inventory. Focus on that first. Give yourself a budget of maybe a couple $100, maybe $300-$400. Okay, not much, to just get the store generated. All right. What would you be spending most of that money on? Well, I already told you, $35 a month on Equid, so that's not really the bulk of that. So really, the rest of that money you probably would be spending on support. Either A, you're paying yourself to sit there on Printful and apply all these images and generate all these products, or you can have us do that for you with our different executive assistance services, or custom request jobs, where you just give us a couple service credits, and we'll go in and spend all that time generating all of those different types of clothing. Either way, we're not talking about a big investment,
Right.
but get this done first. Build that baseline store so that this is no longer an issue for you. And then let's go and make a sizable investment on Alibaba.com or one of these other manufacturers and purchase the dashikis in bulk. That's going to solve the problem, Juan. That's going to solve the problem. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay. Excellent.
Now, I talked to business colleague Sherry Vollen, and she told me that she uses you guys to generate content, or we started doing this in for the month of February.
Mm-hmm.
You all posted. I'm just thinking of ways to put the word out. With the best way to put the message out. Hey, my website is here.
Mm-hmm.
It is open for business.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. What else could I use?
Mm-hmm.
But Pinterest.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge social media. You don't really see me on social media that much. So that's something that I really have to work on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, as far as communicating.
Well, you know what? You have some time to work on it, because I'm going to tell you, based off of this discussion, I don't think you're really open for business yet. Actually, I think your website's available for people to come check out stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think you're really open for business. I think so. Let me be really specific with you. I do think people can come to your site and they should be able to buy stuff right now. Yeah, they can come, they can purchase some artwork. That's going to be an expensive purchase, or maybe they can purchase one of the 3 shirts that are currently there. But I don't think there's enough product on your site right now to justify any kind of serious investment in marketing. Okay. Because you're not going to make a return. You're not going to make a good return. There's not enough to sell yet. Now, what we did start last month, and I think this was successful, is you spent 1 service credit, if I believe correctly, and this is an open session, right, Juan? So you're okay with us discussing this, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you spent 1 service credit, and for that 1 service credit, the brand desk team researched 4 different articles for you, I believe, and scheduled those articles to go live on your website on the first Monday of every week in the month of March.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Right.
So far, we've just completed the first week of March. So you've got 1 article that went live this week. And so another article is going to go live on this upcoming Monday, and then the Monday after that, and the Monday after that.
Okay.
Now, what's the so I think that's a great service. I think you did it. You did well to choose that method, because it is a way to keep content coming to your site with very little that you need to do, except that there's one primary pain point. And that pain point is that you have to actually log into Brand Desk every month, and you have to place that order. You have to place that request. You have to log in. You have to place the request. Hey, could you please, find articles for the next month and get those posted? And so when we talked about it, I recognized that, that's a pain point. And honestly, you're going to be busy. So you're not going to remember. I'm not going to remember. So no one's going to remember to come into Brand Desk and place this request manually every single month for you. Even if you're willing to pay the $30 for a service credit, or the $19 for the access membership, that doesn't mean that. I mean, that's great, but who's going to put the request in manually every month?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a solution. And I'm going to send you a link right now in the chat. All right. So there's going to be a link. You're going to see a link show up in the Zoom chat right now. And that link is going to take you to the task flow page where we have an excellent solution for you. And this solution is called blog reposting. So for $30 a month,
Mm-hmm.
our team will automatically research 4 blog articles, gain your approval, and post them to your website. And you do not have to manually come in and put in a request order every month, because this is a subscription. This is the big, the big thing I'm excited about, is that we've turned this into a subscription. And the best thing about subscriptions is they happen automatically. So you don't have to remember to do it. You don't have to figure out, okay, oh, I forgot to put in my order this month. You just sign up for the subscription, and automatically every month our team will take care of this for you. And the cost is $30. So the cost hasn't gone up. That's the cost. It's $30. We didn't raise the cost. It's $30. And that is for 4 monthly blog reposts. Now, if you wanted to double that, let's say, it's not enough to have 4 posts going a month. In other words, 1 post every Monday. Let's say you wanted 1 post every Monday and you wanted another post every Wednesday, because maybe you're finding that this is actually creating good traction and it's fine, and people are having a reason to come back to your site multiple times. And maybe you're seeing that because they're coming back to your site multiple times, they're buying more stuff. So it makes sense to produce more content. So you say, okay, well, instead of doing 4 articles a month, let's do 8. Well, guess what? Instead of doubling the price, which would be 30 to say 60, we are actually wait a second. There's a little bit of a miscalculation on my end, but the cost for the 8 monthly blog reposts is actually $72 a month. Now let me take a look at this. I think there's a, look at this. This is live. This is happening live, folks. This is happening live. So I think there's a miscalculation on the site. So sometimes this happens, Juan. All right. You launch a service and you realize, wait a second, you got the pricing wrong. So the actual cost for the 4 blog reposts each month is $40. But if you sign up for a subscription, you get it at a discount. You get a discounted rate, and so the discount is 10%. So 10% off of 40 is actually 36. So that means that the cost for 4 monthly blog posts on a monthly basis is actually not $30. It's actually $36. And that is our mistake. So I need to log into the system right now, and I need to try to correct that mistake, because that is a mistake. So actually the price is a little more than $30. It's actually $36 per month for the 4 blog reposts on a subscription, which means that the 8 blog reposts is $72. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So that way you're still getting a discount. Instead of paying $80 for 8 blog reposts, you're paying just $72. And then it goes up again if you want, I believe it's 12 blog articles. Let's see, we got 4, 8, 12. So 12 is, instead of being $120, it's $108. And the most that we're offering right now for 15 blog posts every month, in other words, a blog post every other day, is $144 per month. Okay, that's on the subscription. So I think this is a pretty cool service. Let me make this correction right now to the 4 monthly blog posts. I'm glad that we caught that, and I apologize that the wrong price was posted. Sometimes this happens, and hopefully, look, if you're listening or watching, that's what happens. This happens, and sometimes you just have to own it and get in there and make the correction and move on with it.
Not a huge difference. So I want to ask you, so starting off, we would be, looking for different types of content, articles, or what have you, to post on my website. Now, would it be also posted on social media, or would I have to just do that manually? Just go to my web. Could I? Yeah. Would it be posted on social media, or would I have to do that myself, or could I do that? What posts on my website, could it go to Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest,
right.
Whatever I'm a member of?
That's a good question. So, with Brand Desk hosting, you can connect your Brand Desk hosting experience to Facebook, so that when these blog posts go live, that they also go live on your Facebook. You can also, and remember, something that's really important that you're doing is you have the email marketing, which is, I spent a lot of episodes talking about how important email marketing is, but this is where you want to get your customers, because you need to get them off of Facebook and into your email database so that you can talk to them directly. So these blog posts will also be sent out to your email subscribers automatically in your monthly newsletter. That's a big deal. And when they get that monthly newsletter, they can actually share that on social media as well. And I think that really is an important thing. I mean, so there's a lot of sharing going on. There's a lot of sharing going on. So ultimately, to answer your question, when these blog posts are posted to your website, yes, they can also simultaneously be posted to whatever social media platform. Really, I think it's just Twitter and Facebook that you have connected to Brand Desk hosting. Beyond that, though, if you do want these posts to be syndicated on, let's say, your Instagram, your, if you do have a Pinterest, whatever other, if you want them to go in more places, then you would need to use, we would have to talk about a content marketing service. And let me tell you why. Because it's not enough to just take these posts and just copy them, onto Instagram. It's not going to make sense. Instagram requires a picture. Instagram requires that you make, you design a nice image that goes with the post, that then tells people where to go, because you can't just put links, as you probably already know, you can't just put links on Instagram. So there's a little bit of finessing that has to happen there, which means either you will do that manually or we could do that for you, but it would be through a content marketing service. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you right now, Juan, I would not worry about that. So when I was saying that, I don't think you really should, I don't think you should spend too much right now on marketing. I think you should instead focus on creating the products. I would think that if you started to purchase content marketing now at this time, I would think that actually that's not really a wise choice, because you're marketing something that that is difficult for you to get a return on. So I would say right now, let's just focus on raising awareness. Let's do the blog post, and the blog posts to me are the most important, because they directly translate into content for email marketing. Okay. Because I know that these blog posts, when they're posted to your website, they become content for your email newsletter. Because I know that that's the case, I feel that that is a good investment, because it's giving people a reason to subscribe to your email newsletter. It's giving them a reason to come to the website, and it's giving you a reason to spread the word on social media about telling people to subscribe to your email mailing list. which is, I think, the most important thing that you should be doing right now.
Mhm.
Now, once all these products get uploaded to your website, and you have a thriving store that's available for people to come and really start looking around and deciding, ooh, I want to purchase this, and I want to purchase this, and I want to add like 5 different things to my cart. When you have that experience happening, that's when I would say, okay, now let's pull the trigger, and now let's invest in some higher level marketing services, because it's going to be much easier now for you to get a return, since now you have so many products that people can buy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, look, you can certainly start marketing now if you want to, but I think the smartest play, or in other words, the most important play right now is, let's do the blog reposting. That's a small minimal investment of $36 a month. All right. And let's do the Equid account. That's $35 a month to Equid. And let's focus the next couple of weeks on going into Printful and creating as many different Nitty Gritty clothing products as possible. Bringing those products from Printful into Equid so that they're showing up on the website. So if I were you, I would set a goal of a certain amount of products by the end of March.
Okay.
I mean, that goal might be 100 products, which actually I think is a pretty good goal, because it's on remember, there's going to be different product categories. So 100 products isn't really asking a lot. Consider, you might have 10 different sweatshirts, 10 different long sleeve shirts, 10 different t-shirts, 10 different sweatpants, 10 different jeans. So there you go. I mean, 10, 10, 10. So you got 10 products in 10 different categories. That's 100 products. I think that's a reasonable goal. And I don't think it's going to take that much time, maybe not more than a couple of days, to set those up in Printful and then also in Equid. Are we on the same page?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
As a matter of fact, I mean, my wheels are turning. What I want, before the end of this weekend, I want to, because you all have some of my designs, and so I want to get out. I do have some more designs that I want to get to you guys. So
Okay.
so that's what I'm gonna focus on this weekend,
Okay.
and maybe even take some of my artwork, some of my fine artwork, and that was another goal that I have, is to make artwork that could be transferable, to clothing.
Oh my
think,
God, that makes so much
you know,
sense. And you have a lot of full artwork. I mean, from what I saw.
yeah.
So that makes a lot of
uh,
sense. Turning those into, basically applying those designs onto some of these clothing choices would be a brilliant idea, brilliant
yeah,
idea.
yeah. So I'm gonna work on that.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah,
you're right. I'm looking at what we have on file. So I do see that we do have several designs saved here in the in your folder in the in our file management system. So yeah, send us as many as you can so that we can have a nice library, and then let's go in and just start generating products in Printful. Just
and I
do
send
that.
I send that to you through Brand Desk, the same thing that when I was doing graphics for you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give you a special link. Okay, I'm gonna give you a special link where you can go to actually upload these directly to our Dropbox account. Okay, I'm gonna give you that link right now, right here in the chat. Give me just a second. By the way, are you able to see the links that I'm putting into the Zoom chat?
Oh, into the Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Where to go? Zoom chat.
Are you on an iPad?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Did you?
Okay.
So if
Yeah.
you click,
I
you
just
see
saw
it?
that. but I didn't. I missed it. How do I get back?
So you can get there by clicking more on the top right corner of the.
Okay, I see it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and then you click on chat.
Gotcha.
So there you'll see I'm providing you with the link to upload the files, and also there's a link to the blog reposting service. So I want to get you set up with that blog reposting service. I want to cancel the membership upgrade that you did last month so that we could do it that one time. And I want to get you set up on this reoccurring subscription so that it will happen automatically. Okay.
All right.
All right. And so we'll do that offline once we get off the show. But as far as the show is concerned, you know, I think this was an absolutely wonderful conversation. And you know, would you say that we have together come up with a great solution to this immediate challenge that you're facing?
Yeah, this is really helpful. It's really a matter of getting out of your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can admit that. You know, it's, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't want to. It's a new. If it's something new and you're not really used to it, it's easy to just, I don't know, shove it to the side. And anyway, yeah, getting out of my own way, basically. Yeah, so this is really helpful.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. And you know what? I think we all go through that. I mean, look, all of us, there are challenges that we face where the solution is exactly like you said, learning to get out of your own way. And the more you get comfortable with that, the sooner things can start happening. You know, that this applies to me. There's so many things, there's so many challenges that I've definitely gone through where I would spend days, months, for some particular challenges, or even years, just not making progress on it because I would think that it's insurmountable or there's just some roadblock, and ultimately it would take someone to smack me in the face
right.
and say, Pierre, you got to get out your own way. I'll give you one example before we close, and that is launching Brand Desk. When we originally had Brand Desk scheduled to launch January of 2020 or February, I think, of 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and I immediately I like shut down. I thought, oh my God, this is going to ruin all of our we can't launch. And so I thought, so I was like, well, let's just I started making all these plans to push the launch of Brand Desk all the way until like December or November of 2020, just based off of, you know, when things returned to normal. And it took some conversations with people that I admire to smack me in the face and say, Pierre, what are you talking about? This is the perfect time to launch Brand Desk. Get out of your own way. Do it. This is the time to do it, because this is when you have a captive audience. People are at home. They're looking for something like this right now. Do it. And even with that smack in the face, it still took me too long to do it because I think I had that conversation in February and I actually didn't launch it until May of 2020.
I remember.
Because I was too held up in a lot of these details. And, you know, it took a lot of people saying, no, this is the time, you need to do it. So look, that's just, you know, one example. There have been so many others. So I get it. I totally get it. Learning to get out of your own way. And with that said, Juan, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to be on the show this week and for, you know, being open and vulnerable with the entire audience about the goals and the challenges that you're facing as an artist and as a business owner. I'm so glad that we're able to come to a really good solution together, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of this implemented and seeing your vision for Nitty Gritty Clothing fully realized this year. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know the audience is looking forward to it. I'm going to give you the last word. What would you like to say to the audience as we close out?
Keep it real, keep it nitty gritty.
Keep it real
nitty-gritty.
and keep it nitty gritty. Okay. I like it. All right. Thanks again, Juan. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Difference. If you'd like to learn more about how Blue Artists can help you develop a distinguished brand that inspires and engages a growing audience, then please visit us at www.blue-artist.com and be sure and subscribe to our monthly podcast for the latest tips and trends in brand development and marketing. And remember, you're not just making a brand, you are making a difference. Start building yours today.